Hey everybody. Good
Hi, how
morning.
are you?
Good, really good.
Let's just dive right in, all right? So, Justin, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about your backstory and the backstory on how you got here today being a winemaker.
So I'm right now I'm located I'm taking the Zoom call from my estate vineyard in Walla Walla, Washington. I'm born and raised in Walla Walla. My kids are fifth generation. And after finishing high school, I went to Gonzaga University up in Spokane. And my senior year at Gonzaga, I had this amazing experience to go study abroad in Florence, Italy. And so I went to Italy for a full year and fell in love with the whole culture and just loved everything. And came back and decided that I would pursue my dream of planting a vineyard and eventually starting a winery. So a lot of my friends, I shouldn't say, about six of them stayed in Florence. And I called them and said, hey guys, I'm going to create a new brand, a winery. Can you come up with a really cool name to remind us of all the great times we had in Florence? And they came back about 2 weeks later and said, Va piano. Va piano means go slowly in Italian. And it was a great reminder in our busy life and schedule to slow down, take care of the vineyard, our friends, our family. And that was now 23 years ago. So the winery's up and running and it's been there. And throughout my journeys, I've met these amazing people. And Ben and I have been really started, right, Ben? We started about the exact same time. He
Yeah.
started his art career, I started the winery, and we had a cup of coffee together with a mentor of ours in Spokane, Washington. And Ben went off and did his career and I did mine. And we've always periodically checked back with each other. How's it going? What's happening? What's going on in your life, business, your art, and we've always said someday we're going to do something together. We never really knew what it would be, but we always were like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this or this? And we're both busy with our stuff. And Ben, I'll let you take it from there as far as your career and then how you met
Yeah.
Duffy.
Yeah. No. And Justin's right. We kind of got started right at the same time, and kind of similar paths too, because I went to Florence a couple of years after Justin did, and through Gonzaga, and I had always done traditional landscapes up to going there, and some sculpture here and there, just kind of trying to figure out, okay, what is my voice and what's going to be that platform that I create my art through. And when I was studying there in Florence and sitting in the middle of the city painting the Duomo or the Ponte Vecchio, whatever it was, and Florence is happening all around me, and I thought, man, I could never build a house big enough to capture everything that I love about Florence. So how do I create a piece that you could travel that whole experience in one visual? And so I came back to Gonzaga, and it was a couple years later that I realized if I painted from an aerial perspective and give an individual those lines that they can connect with, then they can populate that with all of that experience and connection. And from the very first piece, I've never fully framed my artwork, and part of that, the lines, the cutouts are actual lines of the area, but it's really meant to signify that you can't confine or contain geography, that all these pieces expand beyond what they are, and we all have these puzzle pieces of life on where we connect and who we connect with. And so it's trying to tell that story through the work. Like Justin said, we'd always kind of kept in contact. We're fairly in short proximity to each other, and so our paths are crossing here and there, and we share many of the same clientele, people that are passionate about what they do, and art and wine, and it's just a perfect merging. It's just the timing of it. And so I paint the connection to place, and Justin makes incredible wines, and so merging in on this pickleball project was a perfect way to get going, because it's just you say pickleball to anyone that knows the game, and it's just a big smile, and it's just great conversation. And so that's how we connected on this project.
Do you want to see the piece?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is the piece here that Ben created, and he can tell you a little bit about the artwork, but you can see right there. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah.
It's your piece.
Yeah. So what you're looking at, this is the Seattle area, and so right there, the island of Bainbridge is where the game was created. And so we thought, what a great homage to, the location that it was created. So you can see a little pickleball there that I painted in.
Right here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And so, I wanted to create, that it's in the white to yellow, the color of the actual pickleball has changed since the beginning, but, just I paint place. And, what I love about it is when people can connect to it and tell their stories. This was directing more towards the origins of pickleball. And it's like, why not celebrate that? Because it's such an incredible game that's, really kind of sweeping across the globe.
And then on the back label, we have a little bit of story about Ben and I and pickleball in general. And this is my 2021 Walla Walla Valley cab. So this wine is made from 100% from my estate vineyards here in the Walla Walla Valley. Yeah, just a little story. There's a QR code. People can go to our website and buy it. When we first did this, we had several meetings together. And then when I finally got everything packaged, labeled and bottled and filtered, I went up to Spokane and we had lunch together, and we drank a bottle of this together for lunch and admired the artwork and loved the wine. And it was a great lunch and afternoon. So
whenever Justin comes to or to Spokane and he brings his wine, it's always a treat because he just creates such an incredible product. Merging these two was a fantastic project, but it's the wine just pours so smooth. I mean, it's one that I'd love to keep on hand, in my own cellar. It's fun, that connection to place and the wine.
So I have to know, who came up with the idea initially? Who said, all right, let's take pickleball and wine and put it together in one?
That's you, Ben.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was a gal here in Spokane, Stephanie Vigil, who was a news anchor for a lot of years and then had retired and was really getting into the game of pickleball and known, really both of our product, our businesses. And she thought, what a great way to bring, wine and art into the pickleball realm. And I know it's something that people are very passionate about what they do. And I think pickleball is the same. It's an extension of that passion that people find in their lives. And Justin's been wine, I've been art. And I feel, and Justin, I'm sure would say the same, we've been working over 20 years to get to the starting gates. And it's like, okay, now what can we do from here? And it is, you hear all these stories of people playing pickleball, and whether they're starting in their teens or they're picking it up in their 70s. I mean, it's such an incredible sport that anyone can play. There's just a passion behind it. And so I think the concept really complemented each other because it's what we do is create passion, and the game also brings that same to people's lives.
Definitely. So do you play?
I just started. He does. I just started, so I'm getting into it, loving it. But I'm definitely a beginner for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a great break from the winery and the wine business, and
right. Yeah. No. And I'm sitting right around a 3.0 to 3.5 as a ranking, and it's I feel comfortable. It's I love competition, so I'm always trying to get better. But man, there's the thing that I love about it is you just you can never judge a book by its cover, and you get individuals that are ranked way higher that you think, I can run circles around these guys, and they just smoke you on the court, and it's like, all right, kind of puts you back in your place. But that's again, I love the game, and you can really play to whatever level you feel comfortable with.
And what made you decide to do the art specifically on pickleball's birthplace, instead of, maybe some kind of abstract, something else? So
we're, both of us, Justin and I, conduct our business out of Washington State. And so up here, it's one of those that people, really kind of hold high, is that the game was created in Washington State. It was just, again, one of those things that it's such a cool trivia kind of fact on the location and how it was developed. And so we thought, what a great way to bring, just an emphasis to that. And what I love about, the label and the wine, it becomes such an interactive product. And so, when people know the story and they have the bottle of wine, then they get to talk to the other people in their party or as a couple and discuss, the origins of this incredible sport. And so it's a great way to bring conversation into the mix.
I think the other thing to remember too is, there's so much more, as to play off what Ben just said, there's so much more in a bottle of wine than just the wine. People open it, they're usually with their group of people that play pickleball. I've noticed that at the winery, people come in like, oh yeah, we'll take 6 of those because I have a bunch of friends who play pickleball and I want to share this with them. So they're going to open it, tell all their stories. Unlike a bottle of beer or a spirit, it's not going to happen like that. But with pickleball wine, they are literally sitting around telling all their best stories. So I think that's a great connector at the end of the day, to bring people together with art, wine, and their stories.
And so how long did this whole project take, from ideation, like, hey, let's work together, let's make this, until to the bottle that you have in your hands right now?
We met last winter, right? Last winter?
Yeah.
Or no, was it last
fall? Like in the fall.
During right during harvest.
Yeah.
So it took a good, 9 months to put together, because the artwork, my biggest thing was Ben has the original piece, but to get the feeling of it and get the look of it and the finish of it to really honor his artwork took a long time to work with my printers, the label people, and to really capture what he did as an original. And I think the first run went really, really well. We may make a few little changes, but that was my biggest concern. So it actually has the little die cuts here, and it has, just like his artwork, the die cuts. So the label's not square. It has all his little detail in it, and it takes time and effort with the label companies in California to perfect that. So that was where I really wanted to hit a home run. And you'll notice that the front label is the artwork. There's nothing else on it, because the back really reserves itself for all the information. So Ben's artwork just kind of floats on that bottle, and that's the first and only thing you see. And then as you pick it up and you hold it and you turn it around, you start to learn more about what it is. And the back of the bottle really explains everything in better detail.
Why did you make the choice to not put your winery label on the front?
It would take away from the artwork. People would be reading. They would be reading the vintage or what it is, and not paying attention to maybe the artwork, and be I think the more you look at the artwork, the more it's intriguing. And once you read the back label, now you go back to the front, you're like, oh wow, okay, this is pickleball. It makes total sense now. But to have something on the front of it, I wanted to really preserve his artwork and honor his artwork. And then after that, people are reading, and then they're honoring the wine on top of that. So
and the other thing too is it's a pretty exclusive limited run. And so we didn't feel that we had to really promote it from across the aisle. It was more of let the artwork speak, on the front. It's almost if it's like hanging in your living room. This is a piece of art, and you don't need titles or anything. It's once you can learn the story and understand why, we created what we did. Yeah, it actually looks like a piece of artwork too, which, to Justin's point, it just turned out fantastic.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah. What's funny too is that we've been up in one of my galleries up here. I have the original on display. It's not for sale, but more and more people have been talking about, hey, can we get a limited edition, or when are these editions coming out? And so it's something we've been tossing around. I think that we might, bring out some limited editions of the actual artwork as well.
Oh, that would be exciting.
Cool. That's cool. Right? Yeah. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Good for you.
Certainly a demand for it, I tell you what.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. It's such a great game.
So, Justin, tell me a little bit about the wine itself. What are the tasting notes? Maybe what are you going to smell? Is there any, is it more fruit forward? Anything like that you'd like to share?
So this wine is really built, this is about 85% Cabernet. The balance is Merlot, Cab Franc, and just a little bit of Malbec. About 50% New French oak. Aged 22 months in barrel. It has a lot of structure and texture to it, so tannins, but it also is enough age on it that the tannins have rounded out a bit and the fruit is coming forward. So it's a big wine, but it's palatable without food. It's smooth, but it's something that can age as well. This wine is showing beautifully today. We had this the other day for lunch, and it was rocking. I'm pretty proud of it. I would not put it in the bottle if I was not proud of it. So
yeah,
we spent a lot of time working on it.
Yeah, I'm proud to put my artwork on it. So
that's awesome. And do you guys have any plans for more pickleball wines?
We'll see how this one goes. I think there's an opportunity to maybe do a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc or maybe a Syrah, but let's see how this goes and see people's responses to it. Yes, of course. I think there's an opportunity, but we're gonna go slowly. Va piano. You're gonna go slow.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
I love it. I was definitely curious, like knowing I've been to Napa and done my fair share of several wine tastings and that kind of thing. So I was very interested to know why it was a red wine versus a white wine, because at least I'm from Florida, and so it's, you know, it's hot, it's sunny, you know, you want that white wine when you're out doing activities, that kind of thing. So I was curious why you chose to do a Cabernet.
Cabernet is still king when it comes to wine. And so I had some really amazing Cabernet. And so Chardonnay was already in another program that I have. I did not have any set aside for this project. So Cabernet is kind of where I focus on as a winery. But I do have a little bit of Chardonnay, and maybe in the future we can allocate some of that Chardonnay to this program. But in general, the winery is a Cabernet producing winery. And we do dabble in Syrah and some whites as well. So since we make mostly cab, it made most sense that it kind of stay in that cab area.
Absolutely. Got to stay with what you're good at, right?
Yep.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and chatting with me. This was so fun. I didn't think I would be coming into the office today and talking about wine. So that's always a good day in the office. You guys have a good one. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.